Humidus podcast.
Oh, welcome everybody to the return of the Humidus podcast. And with me today, I have the mighty and all-knowing...
Testing. Hello! Steph here. It's been a while. How are you people?
Hello, Steph.
Hey.
How are you?
All things considered, I'm doing good.
You didn't get caught up in the resurgence of Corona in Norway?
No, but I'm thinking with how people are acting at the store I work, I'm thinking that it's a matter of time, honestly, and I'm a little bit afraid.
Yeah, that's like always the probe of society.
Yeah.
Like the people in the store. That's you can kind of sample out how the general populace is reacting.
Yeah, I mean, it's
love that.
I feel like it's group stupidity. It's what's happening here. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, the people, like, okay, so I've mentioned before to the listeners as well, but you know, it's a seasonal store, right? So summer is like the high season, and then you really get to see the difference between those who live there all year round and those that come in for vacation, because there's always been sort of like a small spark between those two groups of people. And like a lot of the regulars, they kind of see the vacationers as necessary evil, because it contributes a lot to the economy, but they're also a fucking huge nuisance. But you kind of, when you start living there, you think, but it's just a stereotype from the old days, right? And then you just see them in action, and you see them fucking road raging in their Teslas, and almost run you off the road because they speed and do like a drive-by head on into like a steep curve in the road where you can't see shit around the bend, and then you meet them head on. These things, and how they act. They bring their whole family almost naked, like kids in thongs and shit, like all that nasty stuff, come into the store 5 at a time, and it's really tight space in there, and they ask you questions 10 centimeters from your face, and like, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I'm thinking the stereotype has gotten some merit.
And to think that like our listeners don't know this, but the kind of seasonal vacating people are very often very well off.
Yeah.
They're like rich people in Norway, so you should think that they are like part of a higher socioeconomic layer, so they should respect proximity and stuff like that. But no, that's not the case.
Yeah, it's as if they think that having more money earns them or buys them the right to behave more recklessly, or it buys them freedom from common laws.
Yeah, I know.
As if they're entitled.
Talking about.
Yeah, fuck those people. I can say that ironically too. It's just, I don't know. It happens every day, right? And especially during summer, I work a lot, and every day people break the 1 meter boundary. Like, that's what it is in Norway at the moment. Like, 1 meter is the social distancing, and they break that with flying colors at least 60 times a day.
Whoa.
On me.
Yeah.
And some people happens to more or less, depending on the day, whatever. But then at least, there's tens and tens and tens of times that happens per day, and we're at a small store where there's, yeah.
But I see it all the time as well. I mean, I see people just walk straight past like the wash or the dish. What is it called? Come on, the alcohol dispensers.
Oh yeah.
They just like it wasn't there, and they in the stores they kind of scratch their nose, and touch their face and touch everything. Kind of, am I gonna buy this? No, that's not the right one. And then they put it back like straight. What?
Let me just stroke this cucumber real quick.
Yeah, right. It's like that. Let me lick it. Let me taste it, and then put it back.
Insert it into my nose a little bit. Gotta smell it.
Yeah, and this other this drunk dude came up to me yesterday, and he was asking for directions,
Yeah.
and he was like within 5 inches of my
Oh
face.
man.
I could feel his like alcohol-ridden breath,
Mm.
and I was like, okay, now I'm infected. If you have it, I have it
Isn't that
now.
such a shitty thing though to realize? Like you just sit there, you're just minding your own business, you've been doing good the whole time, you respect the fucking social distancing. And this like fucking jackwad just comes up and just breaks all your effort. It takes it and wipes his ass with it potentially.
Yeah,
It's
and
just
was
like
like it was for nothing. It
yeah.
was for he was asking directions, and I bet of course, he had a cell phone. He could use Google Maps, and the directions were like, it was where was the train station, and the train station was like 100 meters from where we're standing.
Man.
So yeah,
I mean, he could still
worth
hear
it.
you. Yeah, exactly. I mean, he could also still just hear you fine from 2 meters instead of 5 inches. You know?
Mm, yeah, but it was drunk, so I guess he was like, and people just forget about it. They don't
Yeah.
consider it a hazard anymore.
Yeah, it's a little bit like yeah, if it doesn't happen to anyone close to them, especially in Norway, I think this is the thing. Um, and because we're always kind of far away from the danger of the rest of the world in a lot of senses,
Yeah, yeah,
and I think
yeah.
that kind of mindset is still running strong, even though close to
Yeah, I think the international listeners won't kind of get that, but in Norway, it's really like this. We live in a bubble. We
yeah
feel that everything's so safe in Norway. Like you can't get sick because the government will pay for you. The police won't abuse you because everybody's so nice here in
yeah
Norway. It's like you feel so safe
yeah
and
never any
comfortable.
wars.
Yeah, never. I mean, we don't even have poisonous or toxic critters,
Yeah
except for the what Hugodum,
yeah
which is like
a small viper.
it's like a small viper, which is the bite is like getting kind of two bee stings,
Yeah, it's something like that.
that
It's
amount.
it's like
So
it's an inconvenience rather than potentially life threatening.
yeah, so basically, the feeling that you're talking about, it's a real thing. We feel so safe here in this country,
Yeah.
and yeah. So go on. Sorry for interrupting.
No. I mean, it was a pretty good progression of what I was gonna the point I was trying to make. So, I mean, and that's why we on like just before vacation started, we had a pretty steady decline
Yeah.
of numbers and cases and all that, and it looked like wow, we're gonna reopen soon.
Mm.
Things are really looking to return to normal even before the vaccine. And of course, vacation came, and everybody had to travel and be like, "Yo, it's my right. You can't keep me here, muzzled like a dog. I want to go to my
Mm.
cabin, and I'm going, and like you can't stop us."
Mm.
And that's what happened. And I don't know. Now it's looking towards maybe we're gonna use masks eventually as well. And
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, the thing is that a lot of the new cases were international cases,
yeah,
from traveling,
yeah,
and it was also some large unregulated meetups, that are large groups of people
yeah,
that were, more. There were more people than it was actually allowed,
yeah,
and also they were bad at kind of keeping track of people because you're supposed to keep a list of people's names and addresses and phone numbers
I heard a lot of people
when
don't do that.
large groups. Yeah, and that it's still, it really does make the tracking of the spread of the disease very hard
Yeah,
for the government.
yeah, it does.
So, but it's looking like it's coming a little bit under control now. I was saying the latest numbers are kind of slowly declining
Yeah.
because I guess people are a little bit, more careful right
Mm.
now because of the resurgence. But yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
uh,
Let's hope it's just a temporary resurgence. I mean, everybody expected that after vacation season, I guess, but then it
yeah,
looked alarming it looked a little bit
at a point
alarming,
here.
yeah, and that it could just turn into a wave 2, and I really really
Mhm.
hope that that's not the case because it's just I don't want to go back to the complete isolation stuff again, man. Just
No, that was so horrible.
yeah,
And yeah, not being able to make money, that is not good.
no, that's pretty much worst case scenario. Apart
Yeah.
from, let's say, dying, you know,
Yeah, yeah, right. Yeah. But speaking of
dying.
yeah, speaking of dying. Well, not particularly speaking of dying, but being in isolation maybe.
Yeah, yeah.
Today we're going to talk about a very anticipated new title.
Fuck yeah.
I mean, everybody knows about this title. It is Cyberpunk 2077, and it was just a new teaser,
Yeah.
10th of August, and it was insane. I mean,
Yeah.
what more can I say?
So you're talking about specifically the Night City Wire episode 2.
Then yeah, the episode 2 on the Night City Wire,
I mean,
which
yeah.
we got to see a lot of fucking insane shit.
Yes. What's
You
your
want to start?
Sure. So I mean, coming up on this, of course, since it's CD Projekt Red and it's I love the Witcher games. I'm sure you did too. And
Hmm.
of course, the hype here is unreal. And even for me, who
Yeah.
tries to temper the expectations, I can't control it. Like with CD Projekt Red, I'm down for whatever they do, mostly.
Mm.
So for this one, I've been following it, but I've also kind of like saved it a little bit. I looked at the E3 presentation, all that, and it's just like, oh yeah, I mean, it
Yeah.
looks tight. And then I just kind of,
That's funny.
huh?
It's funny that you yeah, you also did that, because I did that too.
Yeah.
I tried to not delve too hard into it, just because I don't want to get too overhyped.
Yeah.
So, it's somehow a letdown.
Yeah.
But I mean, this little sneak peek was not helping in that in that
No.
scenario.
I mean, yeah, because when we saw it, like the we haven't seen too much of the let's say the weapons in particular, and
No, no, no,
I
no.
mean, I think it's been established for a while that yeah, you can choose different life paths because it is based on the RPG and all that, and
Mm.
but like I loved how here they really showed some good examples of how the different life paths will differ, and I think
Mm.
it's all of it looked good, and it just means that I'll have to do 3 playthroughs.
Yeah,
um,
that was my exact thought.
yeah,
I was like, "Oh no, I'm gonna have to do 3 playthroughs."
yeah, exactly.
And you almost feel like the game. I mean, you don't really get to experience the game if you don't do the 3
Yeah,
playthroughs, because it's like the atmosphere and the setting of each of the paths were so distinct and so well kind of imagined,
yeah,
that you just have to try them all.
yeah. I think the how to say, since you have the street kid and the corpo and the
Yeah,
nomad, one thing is like it's kind of like they do all these polls like what are you gonna choose,
yeah,
but I feel like for this one, yeah, of course there's gonna be like one that you f- adhere to more than the others that you're gonna play through first, but just being
yeah,
able
for sure.
to, but the takeaway was still just as you said, it's just like yeah, I'll have to try all 3 because it all looks cool, and but
Yeah,
I mean, who do you think you're gonna choose first?
I'm gonna go with Corpo first,
Oh, okay. Okay.
just because it's like I don't know. I felt Corpo
Yeah.
during the presentation. It was like, oh, it was so dystopian.
Yeah.
With Corpo, it's like it's so extremely dark.
Yeah.
I felt that the one I don't know. I think that it reminds me a little bit of GTA, with the with the nomad being like Trevor,
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
the
That's a good
street
analogy. Oh yeah.
but I don't really know what I'm gonna choose
And
as the second.
yeah, because
I
Street
think
Kid.
maybe Street Kid.
Yeah, Street Kid also really seems like Franklin, and Corpo is
Yeah,
Michael.
that
Yeah,
yeah
yeah, yeah. That's actually a really good
yeah
analogy.
Yeah, I
Um,
got that vibe from it, but I don't know if it's gonna be similar. But I think that Street Kid is probably gonna be my second after Corpo, and then Nomad.
yeah,
But then you got a little bit later into it, and I saw a little bit more of Nomad and the point where you can kind of go out into the Badlands again, and see your family,
yeah,
basically, and that was really appealing to me. After you kind of become this battle hardened guy in the city,
yeah,
and just kind of go out again in the desolate Badlands, and yeah, explore. It's really appealing to me.
yeah. I totally see that. And the interesting thing is, I'm also really leaning towards Corpo. So my first playthrough
Yeah,
is also going to be Corpo for sure. Because all the scheming and the assassinations and
yeah,
like all that shit, like the dog eat dog in the business world, the mega corporations
mm,
kind of thing. I just love that stuff and being part of it because usually they're the enemy. It's like so
yeah,
typical
yeah,
that they are the main bad guy behind whatever charismatic hitman they send after you, like in Far Cry 3, or these kind of things. But I want to be part of it, and it's so cool to actually be in there and just like see that perspective.
yeah. I know. It's like Wolf of Wall Street meets kind of like Boba Fett, Star Wars.
Yeah,
Uh, it's this feeling of underhandedness, and like you said, assassination, scheming, but with the dystopian like wasteland setting,
yeah, yeah,
which I love. And you can imagine that a corporation is like infinitely more powerful because there is no government,
yeah.
because everything's like a lawless society, basically, or not lawless, but approximating lawlessness.
Yeah, and the funny thing is like how they phrased it in the trailer as well, as like when they said how Badlands, they're outside of the city. They are in the desolate wastelands, while street kids are on the street level of Night City, growing up there. But the
Yeah,
corpos, they've fought their way up the corporate ladder, which in this game,
yeah,
I guess, is an actual physical ladder almost, because they are used to
yeah,
living in
yeah.
the high skies almost. Like
Right. And it's like a really hard Darwinistic path
yeah,
up that ladder,
yeah, you
and
could say that.
you can't only be brutish or ruthless. You got to be cunning,
Yeah,
but not only cunning. You need to be intelligent as well. You got to have
manipulative.
the trifecta. Yeah, manipulative, intelligent, cunning, and brutal.
I yeah, and
And then you get to like a small insignificant position in the company.
yeah,
you know
you're like the desk guy in the corner.
yeah, you're like a cubicle guy.
You're
So
you're the overworked intern at Ellen DeGeneres show.
oh oh I mean, we should have a show about controversy. I feel like we always like land on a on like some drama topic.
Yeah, but it's so fun to talk about though. Just like rip open the wounds of society, kind of. But
Yeah,
but it's also kind of thus far we've kind of stuck to, how to say, we've stuck to sexual misconduct allegations. We've stuck to uh movies and stuff pushing
yeah,
agendas more than story. We've had these things that are kind of like easy to land on the right side of. But
yeah.
as soon as we start a controversy show, which we might, but I feel like
But I think yeah, and but if you want to like be successful, you got to be controversial. Controversial.
yeah, but I'd rather lean on the side of, like, let's say Bill Burr rather than fucking Keemstar.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, totally,
And I'm
totally.
sorry everyone out there for actually putting those two in the same sentence, but you know they're both controversial in their own right. But I feel like Bill Burr, he does it really well, and then you have
Hmm.
sociopaths like Keemstar, who's just like, that's a different kind of beast, and not someone I wouldn't want.
Oh
I
yeah,
just to that's the kind of category I would rather lean to if we were going to brush on controversy.
yeah. But okay, back to Cyberpunk. It was like Corpo was most appealing.
Yeah.
And I think you nailed it when you said the thing about like how extremely dark that setting is.
Yes.
And it's also so unique when compared to the other two. I feel that Corpo is so like special
Yeah.
because you're in this environment of the company, and that's your kind of family and friends, but also that's who's gonna kill you, you know.
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
uh, so there's something 40K about that
Yeah.
setting, you know.
You're
There, like the Inquisition or something, you know. The
intrigued.
you're yeah, intrigue. You're fucking working your ass off just not to get killed, but then somebody yells heresy, you
Yeah, yeah,
know,
yeah.
because you
And you
you
just
drew
kind
a
of,
pentagram in your notebook or something,
yeah. And then instead
and
of
then
fighting from trench to trench, we'll fight from cubicle to cubicle. You know.
yeah, yeah, and you can like feel how powerful the corporation is, you know,
Yeah.
with all of its money and producing products that basically only this corporation is able to produce. Everybody's dependent on you, you know. So yeah, I just love that setting. I love it to death.
Me too. And for my second playthrough, I'm a little bit torn between Nomad and Street Kid, because I do think that Nomad. There was this. I don't remember where I read or heard this, but there was this thing about how when you're a nomad and you start out in the Badlands, right, and then
Yeah.
you go into Night City, and a lot of people seem to share the sentiment that it's a great way to actually be a newcomer to Night City, because you,
Okay.
both your character and you as a player, at the same time are discovering and experiencing Night City
Yeah.
for the
Yeah.
first
Right.
time. And I can
Yeah.
see that point, and I think that would be cool to
Mhm.
see. But also, as a street kid, it seems like I also like that you're just in that seedy underworld where you just
Mhm.
like, all right, to survive, I'm gonna chop off my arm and insert like a
Mhm.
multi melta last gun modified
Yeah. Yeah.
brute force weapon just to become, just to get cred and to fight off, other gangs and shit. And you just like, it seems there's so much more of that. The what do you call it? The prosthetics, the
Yeah.
all those things, and just like you see all these people with all the modifications, it just looks so cool and like fucking gritty as well.
Mm.
So that would be cool too.
Yeah.
So I don't really know.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna go with Street Kid for the second playthrough.
Yeah,
Uh, yeah, for the reasons you mentioned, and because I think that the aesthetic of the gangs and like the feel of being, you know, a street kid
yeah,
moving up will be very like in GTA.
yeah,
I think that they're gonna nail that, and it's gonna feel really good to kind of kill people that, you know, stood in your way,
yeah,
and slowly become more and more powerful. Um, Kind of a very brutish way to rise, but still a very satisfying one.
yeah,
And I think that a lot of the stories in the city will be very interesting, like other characters.
definitely, yeah,
Um, I think that they can make some interesting stories out in the Badlands, but maybe it's a little bit harder, you know, to make unique stories.
yeah.
Not
And
be like,
worst case scenario is that, all right, let's say we save Nomad for last, and then we
yeah,
are just blown away
but
by a positive
yeah,
surprise.
and it's like that. I mean, I'm not dissing on
No, no, no.
Nomad because I think that when you've played through the other two, you'll be really grateful that you have a, you know, third perspective.
Yeah.
And I suspect that you're gonna put a lot of hours into a game like this if it's, you know, if this sneak peek is anything to go by.
And which brings me to the next topic that we saw in the video, which is the tools of destruction.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I
Oh yeah.
we saw a little bit of the gunplay before, and it looked good. But I didn't know what to expect with the actual weapons, and
This look. Yeah.
just seeing all the types with the smart weapons and all that, like the smart shotgun that shot like what, eight, you could hit up to eight enemies.
Yeah.
and he just like fired up in the air and just like homed in and stuff. And you see the thermal
Mhm.
katana, and it's just like there's so much different cool shit, you know?
Yeah. It looked so well thought out, the weapon system,
Yeah,
uh, with like the different categories and how you could like, I don't know if you noticed, but you could have a katana in your hand, or you could have a bio integrated blade
yeah.
inside your hand, that could kind of you could call upon to slice people up.
Yeah, exactly.
That was really cool. I mean, just imagine how many possibilities. And you had I can't remember, it was like gorilla hands or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
Yeah, really, really strong, prosthetic cyber arms, that you could kind of melt faces with just one punch.
Yeah. Yeah. I can hear you really reliving that experience in your head right now.
Oh, that appeals to me. But yeah, and like you said, like the homing weapons, and it does remind me a little bit of um come on, what is that game called now? Um, you know what I'm talking about. Total Biscuit's favorite game.
Uh
It's called Human Revolution. The title of the
oh,
game,
Deus Ex.
Deus Ex. Yeah, it does remind me a little bit of Deus Ex.
Yeah.
Like the how, but that's the setting, right? It's like the cyberpunk setting.
Yeah.
But I feel that this is going to be a lot better in its implementation.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be. I think they're going to balance it well, so it's not going to be as like Borderlands esque. It does feel a little bit too flimsy to me. I mean, you don't get a relationship to each gun.
Yeah, true.
Feel that it's just too much, and it's some of the stats are just too kind of insignificant.
Yeah, it
You,
doesn't represent in the feedback other than floating numbers.
yeah, right. So you don't feel that tactile feeling of an upgrade, but this system just really seems to nail it for me.
Yeah.
Now, we don't really know, but from the footage and how they describe it, it really does feel like a well balanced weapon system.
Let's hope. And I think at this point in our careers as gamers, so to speak, we can discern, at least to some extent, the quality of the gunplay by looking at footage and trailers
Yeah,
without playing it ourselves. And from what I'm seeing so far, this game, it's probably gonna be, even if a lot of things with it doesn't live up to expectations. To me, I'm pretty sure it's still gonna be an 8 out of 10. It doesn't look like
yeah,
you can
yeah,
sink any below that from what I've seen so far. Just
yeah. It's going to be hard to sink below that for this game.
yeah. I mean, like what? Even if the story suddenly threw you into another dimension and you were killing My Little Pony bronies, I'd be like, I mean, sure, fine, let's
Still
do
cool
that.
gunplay.
Yeah,
So yeah.
you can still do it in
No,
style.
the weapons fucking look so cool. I love the distinction between like smart weapons and you know what it was like, kind of a brutish weapon.
Yeah,
The
I'm looking at it now. It's like
heavy.
tech and the other one, which is more like the heavy iron based weapons.
Yeah, yeah, and it was like more of a conventional, not so techy style of weapon, but more, uh, you know, overdone. Like a shotgun that has like a half a kilogram of black powder bullets or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, and it says here they're
Um,
called power weapons. Those are apparently,
power weapons. Yeah,
yeah, and those are the ones that are like the closest to the weapons we have today.
yeah. So basically, like really, really heavy and high black powder
Yeah,
content, or maybe not black chemical powder, but still, gunpowder, a lot of gunpowder and a lot of steel.
yeah,
And I mean, that is so cyberpunky.
yeah,
And then the smart weapons kind of reminded me a little bit like of Deus Ex, the smart weapons.
yeah.
with the homing, and there were like chemical bullets and stuff like that to pierce through armor easier.
And it reminds me a
And
little bit of Turok as well, the old Turok games.
yeah, yeah, I was about to say that, but I was like, okay, can I say that Turok? But yeah, it reminded me of Turok with the homing and like the style,
Yeah,
I guess,
yeah,
kind of the style of the weapons, because it's not too far, into a distant future. Everything's not, energy and lasers and stuff, but it's still a futuristic weapon.
yeah, and it wouldn't be too out there to kind of suddenly discover like a freeze ray or a shrink ray or a cerebral bore in this game.
No, no. And he said the guy she interviewed for the weapons said that the most impactful or strongest weapons were retrieved from characters
Yeah,
that
yeah,
you
yeah,
had to kill. And I love the kind of balancing act you had to do. If you want a very powerful weapon, you'll have to kill off a character, and then the development of this character in the story will be gone forever,
yeah,
which is really cool, because then you can have another playthrough not killing this guy or that girl or whatever, and keeping them with you, making the story unique
yeah.
for each playthrough.
I think so. And the yeah, it's a cool risk reward kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah,
And just did you also notice how there's a lot of one thing is there's quite a few weapons, but there's also attachments and weapon mods.
yeah, yeah. It looked really nice. A
Yes.
lot of customization,
That
and
does. Yeah,
also the tactile customization where you can see all the changes you make to your weapon
yeah,
to make it unique.
does so
Oh,
much for me.
fucking
I mean, I'm a
me too.
huge gun nut, so if there's a bunch of guns and a bunch of attachments and customizations, a lot of like wacky shit you can do and really tailor the weapons looks to your preference, I'm all for it. I love that stuff.
Oh yeah, me too. So, do we have anything bad to say about this?
So far, no, honestly,
No.
because the only gripe, it wasn't even a gripe. Well, the when I saw the previous footage, the earliest, some of the earliest footage, I was like, well, it looks really cool. The aesthetics are nice and all that, but the graphics are good, but it doesn't wow me that much yet.
No.
But maybe it was because I didn't watch it in 4K or whatever. Maybe I watched some kind of
Yeah,
nasty footage, but seeing it
but it's
now,
like
yeah,
the other one, but it was like you don't know whether they optimize whether this is like the highest fidelity setting
yeah,
or it's optimized for console, because it's going to be a PC version,
yes,
which probably will have a higher fidelity threshold,
yeah, and
so you can like
same
play.
since it's gonna be on PS5 and Xbox X as well.
Yeah, so
So
it's
with
going
a
to be
free upgrade, so it's like, I mean, I'm buying this for PC now that I have a PC for it. Like, I'm definitely gonna get it on
yeah,
PC. But when I saw the latest footage as well, you know, I would say that the graphics now, I'm just like, oh, I'm sold. Now it looks good. It
yeah.
looks better now than it did for me.
And with
Yeah,
with like a large encompassing world, there'll always be a little bit of a performance compromise.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Of
Uh,
course, I'm good.
but still, yeah, I think it looks so fucking good.
So I would say my hype was adjusted considerably after the
Yeah.
latest one.
I'm almost a little bit bummed out because I'm so hyped now.
Yeah, and it's still like what 3 months until it comes out.
Yeah, yeah, it's gonna be in
Uh,
November.
yeah, but until
So,
then, there's still quite a few titles that are interesting. That's going to keep us
oh
going.
yeah,
So for one, you have Marvel's Avengers. I think that's going to be a fun game. Comes out soon
mhm,
in 2 weeks ish, and then you have the Mafia One remake, which I'm stoked for. Hopefully, we'll cover that. And
that I'm gonna buy.
yeah,
That
um,
that is one.
and that's going to be an episode for sure. Because I'll
Yeah,
I'll probably I'm thinking to play the original, play it through first, and then play through the new one. Like finish it just before the new one comes out, so I can have the comparison fresh in mind, and then you know really
yeah.
get the hype going. and see how they do it, because the graphics are good, but I'm just worried that are they gonna bring over the problems from Mafia 3 as well. Even though Mafia 3 was a decent game, it had its problems, and I just hope that they kind of iron those out. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's always like a question with the remakes. Are they gonna do like a faithful remake, or are they gonna modernize a little bit here and there, or yeah, what's gonna be the approach?
Yeah, and of course we're gonna cover probably more Cyberpunk stuff as well, as soon as it, when it every now and then when new footage and stuff comes out, building up to the launch. And
Yeah, but speaking of kind of content, you've recently bought a Switch Mini, didn't you?
yes,
A Switch Lite, sorry.
I caved
The
and bought a Nintendo Switch Lite.
cheaper.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's pretty much all I've been playing recently. When I've been playing stuff, it's I've just been stuck to my Switch. And I was on the fence for a while because I heard some, I heard mixed stuff about the light version, because it's only the portable version, right? And
Yeah.
but I figured ultimately it's gonna be more of a replacement for my 3DS rather than my console.
Yeah.
So I mean,
And how do you feel about that now?
for me so far, it's answered all my expectations and more, and I'm having a lot of fun with it, because I started out with Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, because
Hmm.
another friend of mine also has Switch, so we figured like, hey, let's play co-op and grind and just have fun with that. And we have, and it's been a lot of fun. And then I also bought, of course, Pokemon Sword with the
Hmm.
expansion pass and all that, and I've barely even touched Pokemon Sword, because I've just been plowing through Ultimate Alliance.
Yeah.
But then Sword so far, I was before, I was a little bit like, should I buy it? It looked, I was a little bit lukewarm on it, because
Yeah.
they had
Yeah.
all the Dexit stuff and whatever. But now that at least one expansion is already out, they've added more Pokemon into it, and of course I bought the expansion pass too. So far I haven't felt that it's been lacking a Pokemon in it. I've actually,
No.
and I love the new,
What about the
huh?
Yeah, what about the performance? That was also a complaint, right? In the free roaming zone.
Yeah, yeah,
Did you ever? Yeah.
yeah. No, I spent
No.
a considerable amount of time in that area, because I love to grind, and I love the fact that you could just walk around and do those raid battles, and you could see the stronger Pokemon just walking around the overmap, such as like, you'll suddenly just see a huge Onyx, or
Yeah.
a Haunter among the Ghastlies, or
Uh-huh.
there's
Yeah.
so many incentives to explore, and I just love the concept of that area. So I grinded a lot there, to the point where my traded Pokemon don't listen to me anymore, because I was like
Yeah.
level 24, 5 something on average on all my Pokemon before I took the first gym badge, because I spent so much time. And
Grinding.
yeah,
That sounds about right.
so but it's fun, because now you also see you have this other system where you have like brilliant Pokemon, I think they're called, which
Uh-huh.
is like a Pokemon that has, if you defeat a certain Pokemon X amount of times, the chance of meeting a brilliant version of that Pokemon increases.
Is it like is it like a shiny,
It's
or
close.
is
It's
it
like a shiny light. So
okay?
essentially, it looks the same, but on the overworld map, it will have this yellow aura. And what does mean is, I
Okay.
think it has some of the stats, or like EVs or IVs maxed out, a few of them that's
Yeah.
guaranteed, and then they'll have an egg move that you normally just get from breeding. So it will be like,
Okay.
worth catching, and it's always a blast to find them. And you're like, oh shit, and you just beeline for it and try and catch it.
Yeah.
And then as soon as you beat those, you increase the chance to meet it the next time as well. And then
Um.
what that also does is it also increases your chance of meeting a shiny.
Okay. So you got a better chance of shiny hunting then, a system for shiny hunting.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then just like, for those things make it even more fun for me because finding that shiny is just like it's so much fun. It's just like, oh, wow, shit! You get so excited, and some of the shinies look
Yeah.
really crazy too. So yeah, I mean,
I've ever only once seen a shiny on my game,
yeah.
and I think I realized 1 second before I killed it,
Oh
and then
no!
the last move landed, and I killed it.
Oh
It
no!
was one of the shinies that were really hard to distinguish. Some of them are like
Oh
almost the same color.
yeah, yeah.
It was yeah.
Do you remember which
It was
Pokemon it
like oh
was?
my. No, it was Gen 3.
Okay.
So I can't really remember what Pokemon it was. It's a long time ago.
Yeah, I mean, my first encounter with a shiny I remember was like in Pokemon Gold.
Yeah.
And I had this magazine, this guide magazine, which explained the concept of shinies because you also get to see because everybody's guaranteed that red Gyarados.
Yeah, yeah, right.
So you kind of get introduced to it that way, but then suddenly I found out like, oh shit, you can actually find any Pokemon in the wild as a shiny, but it's
Mhm.
just the chance is really small. But I was maybe like 10 at a time, so I didn't really see the the stat, the percentage chance. And
Oh,
so I just ended up going into this cave and just like grinding and grinding and grinding and grinding until I caught and found a purple Sandshoe. Well, it's not purple in like the updated graphics, but back then the sprite looked purple. But I think it's green or like
mhm.
something now. But with the color scheme,
Yeah,
it looked purple. And I thought
yeah.
that what that meant was like, oh yeah, they'll have the ability to learn moves adhering to that color. So I thought like purple Sandshoe, he can probably use psychic moves. Of course he couldn't,
Ah,
but it was,
no,
but it was still. I met
yeah,
it.
but
Yeah,
I mean, knowledge back in the day was like it wasn't as abundant as now.
yeah, yeah.
You
True.
could, you could, your imagination was, allowed a little more leeway.
Yeah, yeah,
I remember a couple of things we believed, that were just rumors, but
I think we should do an episode on that, like all the
yeah, yeah,
myths we believed from the schoolyard. These things.
I heard some YouTuber mention Pika Blue.
Yeah, 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 yeah. That was a thing.
That was Marl,
Yeah,
and I mean, I remember hearing about Pika Blue from my Norwegian like school friends in the schoolyard.
yeah,
And to think that this rumor from like America or whatever, wherever it originated, made it all the way
yeah.
all the way to Norway like that.
I
Uh,
also because this is a thing that Meryl was referred to as Peekaboo for a long time, and I
yeah.
think it was like in Japan as well, if I'm not mistaken. It was referred to that
Oh, it
way.
was.
When
Okay.
it first showed up, it was just showed in concept images or whatever. Because
Yeah, right.
yeah, but the
Yeah, we could do an episode on schoolyard rumors. I mean,
the myths we believed when we grew up. I'm sure we could do several,
oh yeah.
and you all can rejoice in the legend of Minorf.
Oh, mean. Oh my God. That is a good one.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think that came from the United States.
No, probably not. I think that was
That's
homebrew.
homegrown. Yeah. Oh,
That's gonna be fun. And but yeah, going back to the Switch Lite. I mean,
yeah.
considering that,
How's the battery life?
um,
Is it good?
it says about 6 hours, and I think that sounds about right. So, but the charger is like the typical smartphone charger with the USB. So,
Okay.
like for example, for me, who when I go for study again, like it would be in Japan or some other place that is like far away, and
Mhm.
those kind of like Switch or 3DS and stuff, the Vita, they're invaluable on those trips to survive them. And now they like it's standardized in most airlines that they have the USB charge port for all the long haul flights, and you can just play the whole time. And now that I can potentially play console games, like proper console games on on the go, it's just unreal to me. I mean, like I'll gladly sacrifice the performance for that because when I looked at the eShop, like we mentioned a little bit about this before we started the podcast, but you have shit like Skyrim, which is one thing everyone's like, "Oh, Skyrim, you're gonna re-release it again, Todd?" But yeah,
Mm.
but then you play it on the go, and you're just like, "Well, I'm still playing Skyrim while on an airplane, and it's not clunky." And they have a surprising amount of other games too, which I probably at some point will end up buying. One of which really surprised me, and it was the Jedi Knight series, Jedi Knight, Jedi Outcast, and
Oh,
Jedi Academy.
you serious?
Yeah, and
They have those old things. Oh my god,
as
those
far as I
are
know, the multiplayer is functional too. And the Jedi Outcast is like what, 50 crowns, like $5, and Jedi Academy is like 200 crowns. But I mean, like, bro, yeah, please, I'll easily play that.
yeah, right. Yeah,
So
that sounds really interesting. So they have like those old games.
yeah,
It's so IT Nintendo to have that, you know?
yeah, I was surprised too, and positively so.
Yeah,
And
sure.
just imagine just sitting there. If you played Jedi Academy on an airplane,
Oh
I feel
yeah,
like you are the sweatiest boy on that plane.
yeah. I mean, then you are a basement dweller indeed.
Yeah.
Maybe not. No.
Oh.
No, but that sounds really. I mean, you're selling the Switch Lite here.
Yeah, and
Um,
it's cheaper too, significantly so. Um, so
yeah, and I think that's like the main selling point because a lot of people are drawn to the Switch because of the games,
yeah,
and they feel that, oh, am I gonna buy an additional console? Like they usually have a PS or an Xbox, you know,
hmm,
uh, and they don't want to go through the whole thing with like having multiple consoles.
yeah,
But then this console does make it a little bit more appealing because of the price and because of the portable nature, you know.
yeah, and you of course you can do the portable thing with the other Switch too. But then again, like I don't have the need to use it on a PC. I'll gladly sacrifice fucking 2,000 crowns off the price tag to just have only the portable. And I can just bring it to the house
Yeah,
of my friend that has a normal Switch, and we can play together. I don't really care if I have to play on the small screen. I grew up with the Game Boy.
no,
I'm used to it. I like it.
mm,
So
yeah. Sometimes size doesn't matter.
yeah. For
Um,
for strategy games, I feel like it doesn't. Like for turn-based or RPG grindy games, where you can just like lay down in bed and just like grind, just sit there.
yeah.
Some things are just better. I feel as a handheld.
I would agree. I mean, it's like sitting on we have a small balcony
Yeah.
in my apartment, and sitting out there like now in the summer,
Hmm.
I really miss like having, or I do have like a 3DS, but I don't have any new games for it. So
Yeah.
I do miss, being excited for sitting outside maybe and playing a game. How's like the screen contrast? Is it good in the sunlight and stuff like that?
I haven't had any problems with it, at least. So I haven't tried it too much. I haven't sat too much outside playing it yet.
No.
But I haven't noticed anything like any problems, any noticeable things with it. So I mean, of course, it could be that it's a little bit harder to see. Let's say if you play a game where it's really dark and you sit outside directly in the sun, maybe. But that
Yeah.
remains to be tested for me. So, but so far, I'm just really happy with it. I'm really happy I made
Mm.
the trade. It was worth the 2,500 crowns or whatever I paid for it. It was so worth it.
Mm. I mean, that's 2,000 crowns. What's that? That's what you spend on a couple of pants.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Oh, there's one gripe I have actually. Now that
yeah,
when we're into it, and it's the fact that the games tend to be very expensive.
yeah, sure.
Because they've already jumped on the bandwagon of like $70 games. It seems. Um,
Okay, yeah,
so
yeah,
some games, most games will fall into the 500 to 600 crowns categories, like $50 to $60, essentially. But then you have like games like the new Fairy Tail game, Fairy Tail the anime, right?
Yeah.
Costs 700
Yeah.
flat. It's barely a triple A. I think it's probably a double A.
Yeah.
And it's 700 crowns. It's like $70. And
Mm.
I mean,
Oh.
bro, should I buy that or should I buy Breath of the Wild for $55? You know?
Mm. Yeah.
So the games can be expensive,
It is.
but the good thing is they have like a small offset to that, which is that uh, by doing purchases, you earn a certain amount of like Nintendo coins or whatever it's called, a certain amount of for each
Okay.
game. And
Yeah.
what you can do is that you can use the points you build up to add a discount to a purchase.
Mm.
So let's say I got 300 points for my Fire Emblem purchase. Uh,
Mhm.
if I pull those off my Jedi Academy purchase, Jedi
Yeah.
Academy will essentially be 30 crowns or $3 cheaper.
Yeah. Okay. So basically free then.
Yeah. If for the Jedi Outcast, it's gonna be almost free. I'm gonna pay
Yeah.
like 20 crowns for
I
it.
guess. Yeah. Academy is a little harder. Yeah. Well, it does sound like an appealing kind of deal with the Switch
Yeah, and
Lite. Does.
of course the games last. Most of the games have a really long playtime length as well. So of course you kind of
Mm.
get what you pay for in terms of content. So I mean, it's pros and cons really. It's just a slightly different focus. So maybe the prices are justified considering most of them you can spend like many hours on.
I mean, I've always kind of been. I remember when we were young. When I bought a Ocarina of Time,
Yeah.
it was like $6.99.
Oh shit! For real?
Yeah, I'm not kidding. Or maybe it was
Wow.
$5.99, but it was over 500 kroner
Yeah.
back in like and then
98.
99. Yeah, 98. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was like, and now you can buy AAA for that same price. And I've always been like, how does that come together? But I guess that distribution kind of offsets that digital distribution and kind of a more engaged gaming community that just a lot more people are gamers. The
Yeah.
market is bigger, so you don't really need to have. You just need to sell a lot of units instead of like selling fewer units with a high price tag
Yeah.
to justify it. But still, I still feel that they could charge. I mean, you could charge $70 for a really good experience.
Yeah.
The thing is that it needs to match the development cost, I feel,
Mhm.
and like the effort they put into the game.
Yeah.
Um, so you can't just like push out, the simplest rehash of some title and then, you know, demand a $70 price tag. I think that's not fair.
Unless you're Todd Howard and Bethesda.
Yeah, sure. Of
But then
course,
again,
if you're Bethesda, then
because Skyrim costs 550 on Switch,
yeah.
which I
I
find.
mean, it's a unique product,
Yeah. Let's put it
and then
that way.
yeah,
But
it's a unique product.
yeah, it is, and I think you do also get included all the expansions and everything though. So you know,
Yeah.
I would still, and you also actually get because of course I sniffed the package. I had to
What?
the Skyrim package on the eShop, and you do also get pre-installed mods that are essentially Link's Master Sword, the Hylian Shield, and the Hero's Tunic.
Oh,
Yeah,
you do?
yeah, you
You
do.
do get mods
At least that,
pre-installed?
at least those. I guess they're kind of official or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But because it's on Nintendo, you get Link's gear, and I find that kind of cute and kind of funny.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, that is kinda a nice touch, you know?
yeah. Will I use it? Probably not. But it's fun that it's there. I like it. I appreciate that. So oh
Okay.
wait, no, I got a
Yeah.
small extra note. A couple of other games that I was surprised were there.
Oh, yeah.
Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 Enhanced Edition.
What?
Yes,
Boulder Skate? I mean,
Baldur's
do people even know what that game is anymore?
I guess maybe now that Baldur's Gate 3 is coming out, but
Yeah, of course. Now it's
before then,
like, yeah.
and not only that, but you also had Neverwinter Nights.
Oh my God,
Yeah,
that's my childhood right
imagine playing Neverwinter Nights on a handheld on an airplane, man. I mean, like those things make me really excited.
Yeah.
And so there's quite a few of those, and I'm surprised, but I'm also like, yeah, I would struggle to play Baldur's Gate on my, let's say, on a PS4 on a TV now, but on a handheld, yeah, I'm all for it, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Sounds
speaking of,
sounds like they kind of cornered that. Yeah, they're trying to appeal to a certain audience there with those kind of games.
and I'm happy for it because I'm that kind of gamer. So for me, it's the
Yeah.
it's right in the
That
chain,
old school boomer gamer.
and I like that. I like when they appeal to me. But also, as an ending note, we need to get on Baldur's Gate 3 when it comes out because that game looks so fucking lit, dude.
Yeah, yeah, we gotta cover that. Sure.
So I expect that to be
I'm
here.
all in. Maybe we should do like a series when it comes out.
We could. That also
Video.
means, huh? A video. Yeah. The secret,
Yeah.
the secret next step.
Secret juice. The secret juice.
Stay tuned,
To
listeners.
becoming popular, man.
Hey,
Yeah.
we've had some
Okay.
increase. But yeah, it's no longer 1.5
Yeah,
listeners.
yeah.
I'm proud of that.
No, it's 2 now.
Oh, it's 8.
Yes, it's 2. So, to both of you, thank you for listening and stay human.
Stay dank.
Okay, goodbye.